We realize that impasse does occur when two sides reach diametrically opposing positions. That's bargaining. What has gone on here in Milwaukee since November is that the union has been given a series of ultimatums that have been issued as a result of the board's inability to understand what real bargaining is, and as a result, really, of arrogance.
Ralph Bowes, president of the MTC board, said, "You can strike as long as you want to. It's your right, and I'm not saying that it isn't your right. But Mr. Bowes knows that this community, like so many other communities, is not prepared to turn any of its educational institutions over to one man. The teachers and the community will not allow this college to be victimized by a little group of willful men."
By the end of January, with still no settlement, Local 212 had to escalate its tactics. First, it held a large social solidarity event at which AFT President Dave Selden addressed the strikers. After playing his guitar for the crowd, he reminded them the only thing that will make the board settle is union solidarity. We'll have to stick together to win it. The union also decided on a daring new approach to keep the dispute fresh in the public's eye. Publicly embarrass Carpenters Union business manager Ralph Bowes, who had done nothing for employees despite being the employee representative on the MTC board. On Monday, February 3rd, a group of strikers led by Kathy Gancheroff of the bargaining committee defiantly picketed the Carpenters Union office to bring attention to Bowes' hypocritical position in the labor movement.
Yeah, I remember there was a group led by, I think it was Kathy Gancheroff, who got a group together and they went up and picketed the Carpenters local. The president of the school board at that time was Ralph Bowes, who was also the executive director of the Carpenters Union.
And part of the bargaining committee.
The story of organized labor's participation in the strike took a dramatic turn on Thursday, January 30th, when the strikers were joined by a group of auto workers led by UAW Region 10 Director Harvey Kitzman. The UAW would join the teachers for weekly picketing until victory. Despite stress and financial instability, teachers remained confident of continued employment.
He was very, very confident that he wouldn't lose his job. He looked upon it with determination and that this just had to be done. But we did talk about, would he have a job at the end of all this? And he said they weren't going to fire all these teachers. He said there's too many of them, and he was sure that, he wouldn't lose his job.
Very talented faculty,
Oh, yeah.
and they aren't going to be able to find people to replace you, even if they had a year. And, I felt very comfortable in my job, and I knew it would be there no matter when. And I knew Bill would be there, and Larry would be there, and we were a very good faculty, and they weren't going to be able to find people to replace us just like that, that's for sure.
Yeah.
By early February, public pressure was building on both sides to create an agreement. A UW law professor, Nathan Feinsinger, made a public request that the union and the board sit down for negotiations immediately. He suggested annual 7% salary increases for the 2-year contract, and the board agreed. But the union knew that there were several crucial matters of shared governance still unsettled. On February 5th, 200 Local 212 members met and agreed to hold out another week, even though they had gone without pay for 6 weeks and half of their colleagues had returned to work. On Sunday, February 9th, the union and the MTC board entered negotiations for one final push before a fact-finding hearing by the WERC that was to begin on Monday. The parties sat at the bargaining table for nearly 20 hours. Much of the meeting was spent finalizing and expanding agreements made on seniority rights, shared governance, pensions, and professional leave. At 10 a.m. on February 10th, 1969, after bargaining through the night and into the morning, Bill Thomas and his team had their tentative agreement. An emergency membership meeting was called for Turner Hall, and the 212 Bargaining Committee presented the contract to members, explaining that it was designed to provide teachers a voice in educational policy at MTC. The faculty ratified the new contract by a 9-1 margin and then gave a roaring standing ovation to the bargaining committee and themselves.
It was nonstop and it was do or die. We had a meeting with the union at 10 o'clock on Monday morning. We were a bit late, but it had to be done that weekend or it was going to go belly up. We just weren't going to quit until we got what we wanted, or what we had to have.
During the time of the strike, we did have several sessions with their bargaining committee, and the WERC had a mediator there, and he kept very excellent notes as to what they agreed upon and what had taken place. A lot of that final meeting involved him, their side saying, we didn't agree to that, and he said, yes, you did. It's right here. It was outside pressure, and I think with the new semester starting to come up again, they must have been getting pressure even from students because they wanted to get classes filled.
They were.
And they didn't have teachers for it. And you couldn't at that time, there was a shortage of teachers. They couldn't get a lot of the people. I know I tried to convince some of my friends to come down there and work. They'd have got hired right away. So they did not have, they weren't going to be able to replace 200 people.
Here's what 40 days on frigid picket lines without paychecks produced: sabbatical leave compensation, elimination of time clocks and hall duties, significant voice on curriculum, paid leave for professional improvement, department deans now required to meet with faculty, college director now required to meet with 212 president, huge salary and pension increases, grievance procedure. The greatest benefit of the strike was that the administration was now on permanent notice that refusing to respect and cooperate with the faculty would result in serious repercussions.
I always had the feeling that we would not gotten those things because now they know that we do more than talk. We also walk. And I definitely think that. I know a lot of people that we worked with thought we were wrong. I'm never wrong.
Hey, yeah, I think one of the other outcomes of the strike, not only at that immediate time, the fact that I think we won, I think it showed up that we won even in subsequent years because it made bargaining just that much easier, really, because they knew that if they weren't going to give in to some of our demands, that the same thing would happen to them again, which I don't think they really looked forward to.
This is my 10th year of being retired. I realize now, having come in contact with so many other teachers from districts all around the state and so forth, how important the MATC Local 212 was in getting me into a relatively comfortable position as a retired teacher, and I'm very appreciative of that.
Two things I think are important for new teachers. One is to really know the contract and understand what it is and what it means and what rights they have under that contract and what rights they don't. The second thing would be to become active in any way with the union by getting on any of the committees, whether it's the nominating committee or the bargaining committee, the grievance committee, attending meetings regularly. If that's the minimum that you can do, become active in some small way, because that really shows the leadership that they have the support that they need when times get a little bit tough.
Stan, in the waning hours of 1967, I want to tell you what I have been going to say to you all year. I am personally very grateful to you for all the days and weeks of effort you have given on behalf of your colleagues this year. Most of us are very much aware, even if we don't tell you so, of the continuous effort you must have given to negotiating this venture. I'm so glad for your sake and ours that your fight was successful. Congratulations, a happy 1968 to all the Felber family. Sincerely, B. Bolin.
It is our intention to continue in our efforts to a strong union to build that kind of college we think that college should be.
Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. The union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. The union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. The union makes us strong.